Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back to Mr. Mahmoud Helmi channel. Today, inshallah, we will have and revise chapters 4, 5, and 6 from Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens for grade 9. We have discussed before chapter 1, 2, and 3. Today, inshallah, we will continue our revision with chapter 4, 5, and 6. The first question, what was Charles Darnley accused of? He was accused of being a spy who collected information about the English army for the benefit of France. Number 2, how was Sidney Carton's presence at the court of great importance? Okay, you know that Sidney Carton attended the trial of Charles Darnley as assistant to Mr. Stryver, the lawyer who defended Mr. Charles Darnley. Okay, how was Sidney Carton's presence at the court of great importance? Sidney Carton looked exactly as Charles Darnley, that helped Mr. Stryver spy the witness of the sixth witness, who was confused and couldn't tell which of the two men met the two people and exchanged the information with. Next, if you want to know why I am getting drunk, it is because I am disappointed with life. Comment. Of course, these words were said by Sidney Carton. Carton said this to Charles Darnley in the tavern after the trial. Carton envied Darnley for the many friends he has that cared for him. He also envied him when he noticed that Lucy cried and felt pity for him. Next question. You might have made better use of your brilliant talents. Comment. Darnley said that to Carton after the trial. When they have met in the tavern, Carton had declared that he never liked anybody. Darnley did not know that Carton saved his life for the sake of Lucy and to help Mr. Stryver. He advised him to use his talents to make a better life for himself. He advised, of course, here he stands for Charles Darnley. Charles Darnley advised Carton to use his talents to make a better life for himself. Next, you are content to help others, but never yourself. Comment. You are content to help others, but never yourself. Comment. Stryver said that to Carton, who was upset because he had never had luck in his life. He wished he would be happy like Darnley. Mr. Stryver reminded him that he had always been like a jackal, working hard for the benefit of others. Next, I care for no man, and no man cares for me. Comment. Carton said that to Darnley after the trial. He confessed that he never cared for anyone, and no one seemed to care for him. He seemed that he was very disappointed. Questions from the most important questions from number 5, chapter 5, a moment of terror. I was just wondering why the doctors still keep those things. Comment. I was just wondering why the doctor still keeps those things. Comment. Mr. Lorry said that to Miss Pross when he notes that Dr. Manette still kept the shoemaking tools in his bedroom. These things might remind him of his miserable life in the prison. I wouldn't know, but I know that we are having more visitors today. Another of these young men who are unworthy of my dear Lucy time comment. Who said these words? These words were said, of course, by Miss Pross. Miss Pross said that to Mr. Lorry when she was complaining about the visits of Darnley and Carton to Lucy. She felt that they weren't worthy of her time. She thought that her brother Solomon would be worthy to have Lucy, not Sidney Carton or Charles Darnley. Who was Solomon and what the mistake he had done? He was Miss Pross's brother. He had taken all his sister's belongings years ago and left her in poverty. Miss Pross considered that that was his only mistake, that he had taken all her belongings years ago and left his sister in poverty. We will discover later that Solomon is the same character that he was disguised in another name, Parsot. What was the effect of Charlie's story on Dr. Mannet's face? Why? Do you remember that story? When Charles Darnley began to narrate his story while he was in prison, okay, he said that he saw some workers digging on the floor of a cell, a solitary cell, and they found some ashes of paper, and that reminded him of his presence in the prisons while he was in the prison. Darnley's story about the hidden messages of the prisoner caused Dr. Manette a moment of terror because it reminded him of what he had done while he was in the prison 18 years before. The most important questions from chapter 6, the Mark Saint Evremond. Look at that quotation, and it signifies the real character of the Evremond. It's extraordinary to me that you people cannot take care of yourselves and your children. Of course, he had said these words after he had killed Gaspard Boy under the wheels of his carriage. Okay? He was more concerned about his horses and not about the boy that he had killed under the wheels of his carriage. The Marquis of Evremond said that to the poor people in Saint Antoine while they were gathered around his carriage after it crashed the boy under the wheels, and he only was concerned about his horses. Next, we have mistreated the people and we are paying for that now. Of course, these words were said by a nobleman like Charles Darnley, and these words were said from Charles Darnley to his uncle Evremond. Darnley said that to his uncle, the Marquis Evremond. Darnley did not like the way his father and his uncle treated the poor, and that their family had done many wrong things that they will suffer from that later. Marx did not listen to Darnley's advice and threatened him to send him to prison. Next, it's better for the boy, for the poor child, to die without pain than life with the pain of hunger and such injuries. Comment. These very sad words were said by Monsieur Devange to Gaspard, the father of the boy that had been killed under the wheels of the Evermont carriage. Devange said that to Gaspard, the father of the killed boy, when the boy was killed under the wheels of the Marquis carriage. He was trying to comfort the father, saying that it was better for the boy to die rather than live in hunger, poverty, and sickness. He's ready for his tomb from the Jacks. Comment. Gaspar wrote that in a note after he killed the Marks, he had taken revenge of his child, and after he had killed him, he wrote that message and left that note beside his body, beside the Evermont body. He's ready for his tomb from the Jacks. And we know that the Jacks is the nickname that was given to the revolutionaries. Other Frenchmen have fled to England. Do you know the doctor and his daughter? Comment. Let's correct that word. Marx said that to Donny, and he meant by French man Dr. Manet and Lucy. He wanted to inform Charles that he knows everything about him and the people whom he met and lived with in England. The last question. There I will not feel ashamed of my family, for I do not use it. Comment. Darnley said that to his uncle. He declared that he would leave his property in France and live in England under another name because he felt ashamed of his family's name. These are the most important questions from chapter 5, 4, and 6. And I want you to revise all the questions from the booklet that I have given to you. And I wish you brilliant success. Thank you for watching. Till we meet again in the last section of our revision for A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Thank you very much, Mr. Mahmoud Hilmi.